Welcome to the LaserMATIC10 assembly video. This one is for the open version of the machine. If you purchase the one with the enclosure, there's another video for that. I'll leave a link below. Your user manual has all the assembly steps laid out in detail. For those of you who prefer a video format, this is going to be a good guide. And this video is going to contain the same information as in your user manual. Before we start, it's good to lay out all the parts as well as the tools and hardware on the table and familiarize yourself with the different components. So this assembly process is going to involve 3 different types of screws and 2 different Allen keys. And both of them can be found in this box of accessories labeled important items. The first step, of course, is to put together the overall frame. Now, I like to lay out the 4 members of the frame in their respective positions before starting. So this is the right Y-axis member, right when we are facing the machine with the separate motor. This is the left Y-axis member. It doesn't have a motor, but it has this little shaft here. This is the front C channel with the logo and power button. And the back C channel is kind of featureless. So to start, we want to slip or slot the Y-axis members into the C channel here. So that's fairly straightforward. Once everything is lined up, they should go together pretty easily. Now we want to make sure these cables here go underneath the motor. So we don't want to scrunch the cable between the motor and the front C channel. We just want to make sure it's underneath the motor, these wires. And we just want to line everything up. Now the Y-axis members has this little protrusion, while the front and back has this little divot here, or this little slot here. So they should match up, and once they do, they go together pretty easily. Now it's the same thing with the back. Okay, now that that's on, we want to start screwing, putting on the screws. There are 4 screws at each corner for a total of 16, and I like to just put on the ones up front first before putting on the one up top. Now this is very easy. We just want to make sure the screw holes are lined up with the thread, and it should go on very easily. Now I'm using this electric screwdriver, but it's the same thing as the Allen key that's included in your kit. So that's one corner done, and then we can come to this corner here. It's the same thing. So as you can see, while it's being tightened, the channels are kind of brought into place because of the countersink screws. So that's the front side done. Now we're just going to turn it around and do the back. Next, we want to connect the left and right Y-axis. So in this current state, the right side and the left side, they're disconnected. And of course, we want to join them together. And we do that with this front shaft here. So when we're facing the machine, this is the right and this is the left. And we want to slip this right end into the end of the stepper motor, and then we want to shift this collar here onto the left shaft on the left. So I'm just going to show that in detail now. But before we do that, the first step to this process is actually taking both of these things, we call them riders, y-axis riders, and we just want to pull them front forward until they hit the desktop here. So wherever they are, we just want to pull them forward like that, so that they're starting from the same position. So now this is the right side. We're looking kind of from the top towards the back of the machine. So it's going to appear as the left in the video, but when you're facing the machine, this is the right side. So like I was saying before, we just want to slip this end into this shaft collar at the back of the stepper motor here. So if we bring in the camera, we just slip on the shaft like so, very easy. And then now we go to the other side. So here, we just want to loosen one screw. It's this screw here. So then we're able to move the shaft collar. So we just want to slip the shaft collar onto this shaft here like so. Also very easy. Now comes time to tighten everything down. We want to come back to this end here, and we are going to tighten this down. Now it's important because this shaft is transferring torque between the right and left side, so we want to make sure these screws are really tight. So we want to bring in the camera again. And the way we make sure that it's really tight is just to use the long side of the Allen key. So we want to make sure there's some flex in the Allen key. You know, we don't have to break anything, but we want to make sure there's a fair amount of torque there. Now we tighten the other side. Now we bring the camera in again. So we tighten this one. Okay, that's good. Now before we tighten the last screw, one important detail is once we tighten this screw, so right now the left and right sides are still disconnected. But once we tighten this last screw, they're going to be locked together. So we just want to make sure one last time that these two y-axis riders, we call them, they're kind of pushing up against the hard stop here before we tighten this screw. So I'm just going to make sure that's the case. And that's good. Now, when I move, they kind of move together. And they both start at the same position, so that's perfect. Now it's time to install the X-axis gantry. So we just take the gantry and we place it gently on the Y-axis, or not so gently. So like so is fine. And we screw on the right side first, 2 screws on the right and 2 screws on the left. So again, it's all very easy with this. Next, it's time to install the laser module. It's also very easy. You just want to push the laser module kind of up against the Z-axis and then tighten it down. It helps that we included kind of a long Allen key so that you can reach over the laser module. So there's two screws up top, and then there are two screws on the bottom. Okay. All right, and then we come up here. There is a cable. So we want to plug it into the laser module, and then it only goes one way, so we just want to watch for that. And now the laser module is installed. Okay, after plugging in the laser module, there's a couple other wires that we have to plug in. First is these two for the x-axis. So we want to plug in the wire for the stepper motor. And then this consolidated cable here. Now we want to make sure the connectors are going in straight. If they go in kind of at an awkward angle in some weird instances, the pins on the inside of the connector can get bent. And that might cause like malfunction with the laser. In which case you just want to take a tweezer and then straighten the pins out, but 99.9% of the time you just want to be careful and it should be fine. Same idea with the front right corner. We want to plug in the y-axis cables. So the cable for the y-axis stepper motor, and then this kind of larger connector of consolidated cables here. Yeah, like so. And the last step is to connect the air assist tube. So we want to kind of unfurl the tube and take this end and pass it through the hole on the back of the machine. Pass it through this hole to the outside where it will connect to the air assist pump. And then we want to grab the other end of the tube and pass it through these two points on the x-axis here. So I'll do just that. Once that's done, we want to pass it through this point on the laser module before finally connecting to kind of the air assist nozzle itself. And once that's done, we want to move the laser module from side to side just to make sure the air assist tube has enough slack. So for example, if I move it to the right end, the extreme right here, this is still fine, but I would say maybe a little too tight, so just drag it over a little bit, give it a bit more slack, and this is perfect. And then when we move to the left side, we can see that, you know, there's no sharp corners here. And we just want to kind of give this a little bit more tube here as well. And overall, that's perfect. So that concludes the LaserMATIC10 assembly video. Hopefully each step was clear. If you have any other questions, please feel free to reach out. You can do so through email at support@rolyautomation.com, or we can schedule a 30-minute video call to troubleshoot any issues you may encounter. Thank you and good luck.